1.5b. So we're looking at an example. 5,500 is invested at an annual interest rate of 3% compounded quarterly for 5 years. Okay, so we have first question. How much is in the account? How much is in the account after 5 years? How much is in the account after 5 years? Well, after 5 years gives a hint that we're looking at the future, right? And how much, we're looking at value. So we're looking at future value. Okay, so we're going to use our formula. And T is 5 years. So we're looking at P of 5 equals, the initial is 5,500. 1 plus interest rate is 3%, 0.03. Quarterly N is 4, so we put a 4 in there, to the power of NT, 4 times 5 for 5 years. All right, so when we do that, we end up with $6,386.51. All right, so the second question, how much interest was earned? How much interest was earned? Okay, and this is after 5 years. So we take the amount of money that we have after 5 years, 6386.51, and we subtract what we initially put in, 5,500. And we end up with $886.51. Okay, so that's the amount of interest that was earned. All right, now let's look at present value. We were looking at future value, so now we're going to look at the present value. Okay, present value, we use that when we want to know how much we need to invest. So how much we need to invest to get a certain amount. How much we need to invest. So what we're doing is we're looking for P naught. We're not given P naught. Here we're given P naught, the initial amount that we're investing, but here we want to know, we have to find P naught when we know how much money we want in the end. So let's say that we have a question where we want to have $100,000 at 5%. This is what we want to obtain, $100,000 in an account that has 5% compounded annually for 3 years. Compounded annually, 3 years. Okay. All right, so this 100,000 is what we already have. So the question would say, find the present value. Find the present value, okay, to obtain. So find the present value to obtain 100,000 at 5% compounded annually for 3 years. Okay, so we know P of 3 is going to be $100,000. Okay, so we're going to put that in the front. This is what we're looking for, 100,000. And we need to know how much the investment we would have to put in for that to happen. So we have 1 plus 5% is 0.05. Annually is just 1. And we have 1 times 3. Okay, so if we continue algebraically, we have P naught times whatever that is, and that's, I'm just going to go down to 1.1576. Okay? Now, how do we find P naught? We divide both sides by 1.1576, and our answer is going to be 86,383.76 cents. 3, not 7. Okay. So this is how much we would have to invest so that we would have in 5 years 100,000. Okay, let's move on. The book has a weird way writing this type of problem, and you will probably see it in your homework too. That's why I'm bringing it up. Okay, so the book is kind of off in the way it words it. This is how it'll be worded. The present value of an investment of $100,000. Okay, I'm not going to keep going on that. Now this is confusing because you think the investment is $100,000, but that doesn't make sense because we're looking for the present value, and that is the investment. So kind of think of it, let's say that the word results is here. The present value of investment results of $100,000, meaning we're going to get $100,000. We're not, it's not the investment. Okay, so here's an example of the same type of problem. Okay, find the present value. So when you see this type of problem in your homework, I want you to understand what it's really asking for. Find the present value of an investment of $8,000. Now again, it sounds like an investment. Think of the word result in there, investment result of $8,000 for 3 years at an annual interest rate of 7% compounded continuously. Okay, find the present value of an investment of $8,000 for 3 years at an annual interest rate of 7% compounded continuously. Well, we heard the word compounded continuously, so we know we're going to be using P of T equals P naught e to the RT. All right. So the investment result of $8,000 means we're going to put P of T equals 8,000. All right. We're looking for P naught because it says find the present value. All right. E to the 3 years 7%. So 0.07 is the rate in 3 years. All right. So this is just going to be algebra. We're going to keep this 8,000 here. And all this right here comes to 1.233678. I like to go out at least to 5. Here I went out 6. But when you're dealing with large sums of money, going out to 5 is much safer. If you just go out to 100ths, you're going to be way off on what it really is going to be. Okay, so to get P naught by itself, we divide both sides by that same. And we have P naught equals 8,000 divided by 1.233678. And that equals 6,484.67 cents. So that is what we would have to invest continuously to end up with $8,000 after 3 years.